A recent hike in Millcreek Canyon leads to an unusual discovery, something I found by chance. After some digging, I learned the item has been found before. It's traveled thousands of miles, and according to its owner, it gave his life new meaning. Hiking with an 11-year-old in the winter is never going to be your run-of-the-mill adventure.
Hey, Troy. Checking out the view. What do you think?
But as it turned out,
It's epic, right?
the most astonishing part of our day was finding this, a letter with a photo of someone named Brandon Lingwall. I'd never heard his story before, but others had.
I absolutely believe that the people that find the letter, that it was meant for them. So the fact that you found his letter now, it's no accident for me or for Brandon or for his family that his story gets to go on.
It's a story that almost ended before it started.
Get my phone out fast enough to get it.
Once an avid outdoorsman, Brandon was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1999 and met Brenna Brooks, his former social worker, when he was put on hospice 3 years ago.
When we first met Brandon, he was very sick and he was very depressed.
I never thought I'd be on hospice in the first place.
It was heartbreaking. It was really hard to watch.
But together, they hatched a plan to write a letter and ask people to take pictures of themselves on trails and message him.
I can be your legs, and I can hike it up to the top of a mountain, and we'll leave it, and it will share your love.
Turns out that message of hope had legs of its own. Brandon said it best in 2020.
I never thought I'd go on hospice and it would give me a reason to live.
Replies came in from all over Utah. We got one during this interview.
We enjoyed the sunrise by ourselves, and not only were we rewarded with this gorgeous view, but we happened upon a letter for Brandon's love that was so touching and left an imprint on our hearts.
Because some of them actually poured their heart out to him and, said, I went to the mountains because I didn't know what to do with my life. And when I found the letter, I knew exactly what I was going to do.
And we saw the response that Brandon was having and the connection that he was making with the individuals that were responding. And it was like a spark went off. And he realized that the words that he had to offer in that letter and the love that he had meant something to people. And suddenly purpose was reignited.
And boy, but it just spread so fast.
Soon, Brandon was hearing from people around the world, places like Camino de Santiago, Spain, Ireland, Machu Picchu, Westminster Abbey, and the list goes on. What started on Sunset Peak in Utah made it all the way to the highest peak on the planet. So Nani, tell me about these.
Okay, they are prayer flags from Nepal.
I found Brandon's letter in December of 2020. I was actually training to climb Mount Everest that spring.
Ryan Argenta lost his dad to MS and promised Brandon he'd take him to the top, and he did.
And so just sitting down on the top of the world and pulling Brandon's letter out of my pocket and his photo and just thinking about him and thinking like, man, we made it, we're here.
What do you think his legacy is, or what do you think will live on now through that letter?
Love.
Hello, everyone. We're at Brandon's celebration of life.
Last September, Brandon's toughest challenge came to an end. But for family, friends, and the letter finders, the messages are proof his love lives on.
I didn't think I would have a huge footprint on this earth.
And there's no way that your love isn't going to endure. I will carry it in my heart forever. And I will ensure that your legacy just continues. I'll keep carrying your letter and I'll keep taking your love out.
It was such an honor and a privilege to meet his family and his friends, and I'm thrilled that people keep finding that letter and his message does go on.
It really is incredible how far it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you realize when you think that you're not influencing people, you can have a tremendous influence on so many for good. So sometimes when you're feeling a little bit low, you realize that we can do a lot of good with just the very simple things that we do. I love it. It was a great story.
Thank you.
Great story.